Alright guys, welcome to the video on SOL 8.9, which is on the Pythagorean theorem, Miss Hodnett's favorite thing. Remember, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs, they're the two sides that form the right angle, and c is the hypotenuse. It's directly across from the right angle and it's the longest side. All right, so for the first question, it says find the length of the missing side. So remembering that our formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we're going to put this in Desmos. So here we go. We're going to type in a equals, then we're going to hit b equals, then we're going to type in a squared plus b squared. All right, and that's what we need in there to begin with. And so number one, our two legs are 33 and 56. So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to type in 33. Then I'm going to type in 56. And we get 4,225. But now we have to take the square root of that. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit the square root of my answer. And that gives me 65. And if I look at my answer choices, I can see that I have C, 65. Okay. All right, number two, find the length of the missing side. Again, we're finding the hypotenuse. So we can just go back up to here, what we had on the calculator. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to come up here to take out A and B. So let's click on A, get rid of that. Let's click on B, get rid of that. Now on number two, A is 49. So 49, and B is 168. Okay, so that gives us 30,625. Now I'm just going to click right here and back up one. Whoops, I erased it. So let me do square root of my answer, and you can see that we get 175. So if I look at my answer choices, I should pick D, 175 inches squared. All right, question three. I'm going to be honest with you. Question three is a little confusing, and I had to think about it for a few minutes before I came up with the answer. It says, find the length of the legs of this isosceles right triangle. Remember, on an isosceles triangle, two sides are the same length. If each leg is the same length and the hypotenuse is the square root of 50. So all I know is that this is the square root of 50. And I don't know what this is, and I don't know what this is. And normally we call this A and we call this B, but since it says they're the exact same thing, I'm going to call them both A. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So in this case, A squared plus A squared equals the square root of 50 squared. Okay, so now, how many A squareds do we have? We have two of them, so I'm going to write that as 2A squared equals the square root of 50 squared. And we learned that when you square a square root, they cancel each other out. So we're really left with 2A squared equals 50. Now, we've just got an equation to solve. So I'm going to draw my railroad tracks. I'm going to divide by 2. And I'm going to have A squared equals 25. And then to get rid of this square, we're going to take the square root of 25. And A is going to equal 5. So that is answer choice A. That one's a little different. All right, number 4. It says, which set of these three numbers can be used to make a right triangle? So this is where we have to set A squared plus B squared. We have to set a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, a and b are going to be the two smaller numbers. So let's go up here to our Desmos and let's clear all this out. And we're going to type in a squared plus b squared. Then we're going to type in c squared. Then we're going to type in a equals, b equals, and c equals. Okay? All right, so here we go. Let's type in what a, b, and c are. A is, for the first one, 39. B is 41. And C is 45. All right, so now I've got to scroll back up. And if you notice, these two numbers are not the same, so that can't be an answer. So I'm going to go down here to A, B, and C, and change those numbers. And we're going to look at B. All right, so for B, we've got 39, 49, 59. So let's type those in. 39 plus 49, and C is 59. And now we look at our two numbers, and again, they don't match. So B is not our answer. So let's change these numbers again. Okay, and then for letter C, we've got 39, 69, 99. So A is 39, B is 69, and C is 99. And now if I look, all right, that didn't work either. So it should be answer choice D, but we need to check just to be sure. So let's look at the numbers for D. 39, 80, 89. So 39, 80, 89. And those two numbers are the same, 79, 21. And so we know that the answer for number 4 is going to be letter choice D. Okay, number 5, it says, why is it not possible to make a triangle using the lengths of 10, 60, and 65? All right, so let's go back up here, and we're just gonna change our A, B, and our C, and we're gonna see what happens when we put those 3 numbers in. So let's get rid of these, and let's type in 10 for, well, A is supposed to be 10. 10 for A, B is 60, and C is 65. All right, so when we do, we get those two numbers, okay? And let's look what it says. It says because 10 plus 60 is greater than 65. Well, that's not really why. 10 plus 60 is greater than 65, but that's not why it doesn't make a right triangle. Remember, A squared plus B squared has to equal C squared, okay? Because 10 squared plus 60 squared does not equal 65 squared. And we can tell that that is true because 10 squared plus 60 squared equals 3,700, and C squared equals 4,225. So the correct answer is B. 10 squared plus 60 squared does not equal 65 squared. Okay, next one, it says select all the correct answers. So there's going to be more than one. And we're trying to figure out which ones form a right triangle. So we can use the same thing that we've got in our calculator already. We just need to get rid of the numbers that are in here for A, B, and C. And for this problem, we have to try all of them. So for A, we've got 20, 35, and 40. So 20, 35, and 40. And when we do that, we get 16, 25, and 1600. So that did not work. We don't want to use A. B, we have 15, 36, and 39. So let's change these. 15, 36, and for the last one we had 39. And I have 1521 and 1521. So B is an answer. But we got to keep going because it said all the correct answers. So let's look at C. Now, be careful on C because, look, the numbers aren't in the right order. Remember, A and B are the smallest and C is the biggest. So you got to make your A 14, your B 20, and your C 25. So be careful when you're putting that in your calculator. So let's get rid of these numbers first. All right, so A is going to be 14. B is going to be 20. And C has to be the biggest number, which is 25. And when I do that, I get 596 and 625. So that's not going to work. Okay, so let's try letter D. Let's get rid of these numbers. So, all right, so we're on letter D, 2, 2, and 4. So let's try that. I'm going to go up and go 2, 2, and 4. And we have 8 and 16, so that didn't work. All right, letter choice E. Let's see where we're at. Get rid of what we had. Get rid of what we had. All right, E is another one that they're not in the right order, so we've got to do 11, 15, 18. So A is 11, B is 15, and C is 18. And we get 346 and 324, so that didn't work. All right, one more to go. All right, and for the last one, we have 2, 2.5, and 1.5. Again, this one's out of order, so we got to make sure we put it in the right order. So 1.5, 1.5, B is 2, and C is 2.5. And when we do that, we get 6.25 and 6.25. So the final answer for number 6 is B and F. All right, one more to go. Number 7. It says, find the length of the missing side, round to the nearest tenth. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to write our formula down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I don't know A. I know B is 7 squared, and I know C is 22 squared. So I'm just going to go up here to my calculator. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to figure out what 7 squared is. So 7 squared is 49. Write that on my paper. A squared plus 49 equals, let's do 22 squared now. 22 squared, we get 484. 84, oh, sorry, 484. Now we're going to make our railroad tracks, and we're going to subtract 49. Okay, so I'm just going to go back up here to my calculator. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to type in, I'm going to hit my answer, so it gives me 484, and I'm going to put minus 49, so minus 49, and that gives me 435. So A squared equals 435. Now to get rid of this, we got to take the square root of both. So square root of that, square root of that. A equals, so I'm just going to come up here and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the square root and then hit answer. It's going to bring my answer down, and I get 20.85. 20.85. But be careful, it told me in my directions to round to the nearest tenth. So the 8 is in the tenths place, and the 5 is going to change the 8 and make it a 9. So the answer to this one should be 20.9.